Welcome back everyone to a cast of players, the Chronicles of Valtor. And we rejoin our group of mercenary hero type people. No one really knows what they are, not even themselves, as they have just fought off a group of river trolls because someone fell asleep on the watch. Well, didn't even fall asleep. I mean, you know, metaphorically speaking.
There was treasure in the water, and I was investigating it.
It was a rock, but it actually wasn't. It was the shiny bonce of a troll.
Only we'd had some sort of early warning system.
Based on horses?
Based on horses.
But regardless, you have fought off the trolls and you have continued your long rest unabated. You have woken up, you have not eaten troll bacon.
That probably wouldn't be very good for you.
It would be really bad for you.
Okay.
Highly recommend against it.
What was that halfling's name?
Kelly.
Yeah, her.
Damn bacon demon.
Can we agree if we see her again, it's on site?
Yeah.
If we see her again.
Yeah.
You have begun to, you've packed up your things in the morning. Is there anything specific that anyone would want to do in the morning? Are you happy to just hit the road and head on down to Arcport where you are to investigate the missing contact?
I would like to sheepishly avoid everyone.
I understand. I respect that decision. It's very awkward. So the road pulls away from Lake Tanneros behind you. The skies are clear and the air is warm in the rays of the sun. Is there anything in particular that anyone would want to do during your travel, or are you just happy to ride in relative silence?
Didn't your cat get yeeted into the sea?
She came back.
She did come back.
She came back.
Yeah.
Is she sat on the back of my horse quite happily?
She's not happy about it, but she is sat there.
I fashioned a little backpack seat for her so she is secure and safe on the back of my horse.
Have you put her in a baby seat?
Yes, I have.
She's really not happy about it.
Well, I am, so.
You travel for around 5 hours. You stop for lunch, but your journey is otherwise uneventful. No other travelers to be seen on the road in either direction. Could you all make a perception check for me, please?
No. No, I can't.
He says,
I just want to ride my horse.
It is uneventful, and yet.
Oh! Was it perception?
Perception.
22, please.
Woo!
21! So perceptive.
13 for me.
Brave Sir Gregor!
Troll, bacon.
So a 4, 22, 21.
13.
13, okay. You two, whilst you're riding along, you have noticed that your companion, Garrett, he looks a little bit uneasy, a little bit concerned on your way along.
You noticed this?
You both noticed this.
Wow.
Surprising
I know,
that
I'm so
these two
impressed with
notice it.
myself.
Maybe they're compensated.
Shout out. You right, Garrett?
No, I'm fine. I'm just, troubled night, wasn't it? Our girls are a little bit. Pats the side of his horse. He is specifically riding on. I can't remember which one he's riding on. You're riding on.
I'm Ripples. I have Ripples.
You're riding on Ripples. I think he's riding on Moonsparks.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
It's okay, girl. Could you both make an animal handling check?
7.
17.
Oh.
You've wandered the wilds for some time. You've encountered horses, both wild and domesticated.
Sure.
Horses are a prey animal. They're also quite hardy creatures. Horses are fine. They're not concerned at all. They're fine.
They seem all right to me, Garrett.
Dorian is in the back, just sort of playing a very gentle. Yeah, shredding. Yeah. Santana over here is shredding. But yeah, no. I'm now starting to wig in because it seems that we've slowed down and the atmosphere has changed.
How are we riding? Just out of curiosity, is it like?
I mean, the road that you're on isn't a well-traveled road. You've been along the main trade road that runs through the center of the heartlands of Nemos, and this is not one of those roads. It's not really well maintained. You can tell that it's traveled, but not traveled enough to make it worthwhile to properly pave or maintain. You can go wider than 2 abreast, but realistically at that point one of your horses is going on the grass itself, which is just a bit more uneven than the path that you're on
What
already.
time of day is it?
At this point, it's post-lunch. I presume I presume that you would have
Gets
set
out
out
his straw
about
bacon.
8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, given that the attack happened at around about 2 in the morning, so you needed a little bit more time to rest up. So it's post-lunch, it's probably around about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
But not like dusk or anything.
No. You can see in the distance, maybe another hour or two away, there is what you can see is a bridge that leads over, and there is a lighthouse. You did notice the lighthouse last time as well. It's not.
Did
on.
I?
You didn't, but you did because you specifically asked if there was a lighthouse, and I said
did.
yes, there was, for I am a kind of benevolent DM. So you can see that it is not far off. So you reckon you'll get there by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When you mention that the horses are fine, Garrett just goes, well, I mean, hardy beasts, aren't they? It's just, they're getting back used to it, but everyone is riding them well, and thus they're more comfortable. Yes. And he continues to ride on.
Yes.
Could you make an insight check, please?
Yes. I can. I'm so insightful right now. 20.
He's not trying, it doesn't feel like he's trying to hide anything from you, but he is definitely uneasy about something, but it's not about the horses.
Are you in a bit of a hurry to get to our destination, Garrett? You seem a little uneasy. You feeling unwell? Feeling a bit tired? Feeling a bit queasy? Feeling a bit confused?
He,
It's just you every day. isn't
no, I am fine, Mr. Kell. It's just,
Come on, what's troubling you?
it's just odd, isn't it? This is not a well-traveled road, of course, but traveled enough that you thought we would have seen someone by now, in either direction. Companions, perhaps, overtaking us, or people on their way to the mainlands.
I suppose it's a little bit quiet.
So you're expecting this to be busier? As I look up and behind us.
Not so much busier as stuff should be leaving Arcport, moving to Traistan for the Friend. That's all I know. So for no one to have come by means that perhaps they were right to be concerned. Means our contact at Arcport is quite possibly compromised, or worse. If things were right, we would have passed Victor by now. He would have left the town on his way to deliver whatever it is that he delivers for the Friend. Look, I just hope the old boy's okay.
Yes. Well, we must approach with caution and be prepared for any eventuality.
Dorian just falls back slowly, carries on playing the...
Riding my horse, drinking my wine.
Eventually the road begins to meander ever so gently upwards as the cliff faces of Jalen's Cove, the large cove at the north part of Nemos, comes into sight from across the bay where you are, and soon it ends in a wooden bridge that crosses the water onto a small islet, which is nestled in the entrance on the southern side of the cove. The road then continues on towards the small village, and just beyond that, at the very, very far edge of the islet, is this lighthouse. The islet is fairly barren, it's quite rocky. The village occupies the small plateau upon it, and there's a series of carved stairs that winds down towards more of the village and the docks down below. Down on the docks are a number of small fishing boats alongside them, and there's some out in the cove as well. You see that the buildings are made of white stone and painted wood. They look quite sturdy, but somewhat weather-beaten. They all appear to be in good shape and well cared for, though, despite all of this. There's maybe 40 dwellings in the upper part of the village, maybe a dozen or more so below and down along the steps. There's a few larger buildings dotted about, which you assume to be a market hall, tavern, things like that. There's also boat sheds down towards the lower end of the pier. As you enter the village proper, across the bridge, it's sturdy. The horses are a little bit
I don't trust bridges
okay,
anymore.
but they are the bridge itself it's not like a wooden plank bridge. It is a actual bridge.
So we've hit the bridge now, we're about to
Yeah.
cross it to go onto the island
Yes.
itself. Okay.
Yeah. Did anyone want to do anything before you enter, or are you happy to proceed?
Well, Dorian, I mean, can we hear anything? Do we see people?
Yeah, you see people. You hear slight hustle and bustle. seagulls, the crashing of waves on the rocks down below.
Lovely.
That was very nice.
So it doesn't look uninhabited,
No, not at all.
or abandoned.
And as you enter the village proper, you see that there's a number of people going about their business, nodding, like smiling at you.
But no one left. We still didn't pass anyone along the way. Okay.
Could you make a perception check, please?
Yeah. Have I heard of this place before?
No.
No. It's fine.
Outside of what you've been told by
11.
Sven. 11. Yeah, everyone's kind of going about their day, just going about their business.
I ride up a little faster and go beside Garrett. So, where to?
Well, I believe Franklin Estrup is the leader of this village. You can ask around for directions to him, or you can ask general villagers.
Because he's a contact with the Friend outside of character, right? He's
So-
part of the Friend's network.
The
right?
Franklin is not.
Oh, Franklin isn't?
No, he's not. He's effectively the mayor. Can you have a mayor? Yeah, the chief, the leader of the village, not elder, just kind of
Pub landlord.
yeah, boss man.
Boss man. Should we head to the town square? Seems like a good place to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Along you go. Lance formation. But it's a crowd. Could you all make a investigation check for me, please?
Oh, aye, lad.
No.
15.
Investigation. That will be a grand total of 8.
A 14.
14. Okay. Gregor,
Yes.
you've been around towns of varying sizes. You also remember that because of your background and history, and you remember,
Master of mercenaries, yes.
sure, you remember in the dossier that was given to you by Sven that the discovery of a magical spring has kind of invigorated interest in Arcport. And a lot of people are of noble and higher and mercantile standing are interested in this. No one here matches that description.
Interesting. So everyone's sort of like fairly regular.
They're not peasants, but they're not,
Yeah.
they're a normal townsfolk that you've seen in the dozens of towns that you've been to. There is no one here that looks like a noble or a merchant or a, well-to-do, well-off person. Acacia, you notice there is not a single elf or high elf here.
My people.
Is that unusual?
It would stand to reason that a small village out on the side would not have any high elves, half elves or elves at all. However, Nemos is the country with the highest concentration of half elves, such as their relationship with the Astari enclaves.
Is anyone giving me funny looks?
No, everyone's been really, everyone's kind of waving and smiling. It's like, welcome, it's like, welcome travelers. People are trying to sell you, sort of wares and stuff. But
So there are merchants.
there's merchants here, but they're like street sort of merchants.
Street sellers,
It's
yeah.
like when you've been to the street market in Traistan. There's nothing,
Yeah.
there's no big shops here, or because there wouldn't be. There's no call for, like expensive items. This is a village that almost seems self-supporting with regards to its location.
And our understanding is that the well was, or the spring was located in this village.
Yes, or at least was discovered on the islet. That's kind of what you know.
So we don't actually know where it is.
Not at the moment. Okay. You might find out where it is if you discover it. Who knows?
Play your games with us.
You ask around for where Franklin is located, and you are directed to the town hall. It's a small 2-story building, stands in the middle of the town. Its exterior not much different to the rest of the smaller houses, the rest of the dwellings. Inside the bottom floor, as you enter, you can see that it's lined with rows and rows of books and scroll cases. Some of them are on bookcases, some of them are just strewn about the floor, some of them are on desks. And there is a small wooden desk which stands near the front door. Behind it sits a beautiful woman in her mid-30s. Her hair is pitch black, tied up in a neat bun, and she has bright green eyes that are moving left to right as she makes notes on a stack of papers. She looks up as you approach. She puts her quill back in the ink pot. She gives you a smile, stands up, pulls her blouse down. Good morning. She holds out a hand. Sylvie Cross, record keeper of the town and secretary to Mr. Estrup. Do you have an appointment? There's no queue. There's no one else here.
No.
It's just Mr. Estrop isn't expecting any visitors to Arcport today. I'm sure that he'd be willing to meet you, of course, but can I ask what brings you here?
We're hoping to speak with Franklin because we wanted directions to Victor's house.
Victor? What do you want with Mr. Mattingham?
Well, we're friends of his.
She looks you up and down. Could you make a deception check for me, please?
Yay! He finally rolled above a 10 on skills. I am on 4, 5, 6, 17.
When you say this, she looks at you and she gives you a very slight smile, very, very, almost imperceptible, but you can't kid her.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't realise that Mr. Mattingham had any friends from out of town. He barely has friends in town.
Oh, he'll be delighted to see us then.
I'm sure he will. Mr. Estrop is upstairs. He's probably writing to his newfound friends in the upper circles of the kingdom. Honestly, once this whole business with the spring is over, I'll be glad to return to some semblance of normality.
Is it still being made?
Well, the spring is currently needing to be renovated for what Mr. Estrop would like for the merchants and the nobles to put up with, as it were. Despite it being a natural spring, although the veracity of its rejuvenating properties is not exactly something that has been tested yet, it is, shall we say, not to their liking as such. It needs to be clean, lichen, the mold, moss, things like that. Give it a bit of a spruce up, make it more attractive. But it is just outside of town, but it is currently closed off. No visitors, I'm afraid.
Could you point us in the direction of said spring? Because I'm sure you're aware, as with your lovely visage, I might add. You know how to spruce up a few things, I can tell. And as you can see by my lovely visage, I too am a master of sprucing. Perhaps we could take a look at this spring and see if we could spruce it ourselves or assist in this town's issues with the spring itself.
Could you make a persuasion check followed by a deception check?
I'm also concerned that your hand was on your gun the entire time.
It's just natural.
It helps me get in character. Oh no!
Oh God, he shot himself in the foos.
A 7 on my persuasion, but my deception, 14.
Okay.
It's an average effort.
I mean this in the nicest possible way, Mr.
Gregor Martwig, master of mercenaries and explorer extraordinaire.
I mean no disrespect, Mr. Martwick, but you are not... she gestures to your gun. You are not a builder, are you? You are friends of Victor Mattingham.
Indeed.
The eclectic company he keeps. Up the stairs to the left, Mr. Estrop will be in there. Are you going to be here for long?
Shouldn't be here for too long, I shouldn't think so.
Well, if you need to stay overnight, where did you come from?
I can't.
Not necessarily you in general, but just, you know. It was you're at the moment, your base is in Traistan.
Ah, yes. Traistan?
Traistan?
It was a child from Traistan, yes.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of days' ride back to Traistan. Look, if you need lodgings, go and see Irina Bossia at the Cliff House. Tell her I sent you. She'll give you a good rate, although frankly, she'll probably give anyone a good rate, desperate for business as she is. I'm sure she'll be happy when the spring is up and running, but, you know, until that time comes. If I can be of assistance with anything else that doesn't involve your visiting to the spring, I'm more than happy to help.
Well, thank you very much for your help. It's quite a mess down here. Would you like some assistance in tidying up all these books?
Oh, no.
Screwed everywhere. Tidy house, tidy mind and all that.
Oh, it's fine. I have a process.
Dorian just looks at you.
Well, look.
Shall we go upstairs? Start making my way upstairs.
I'm going to tell Arctoria to stay down here nearby and just...
To tidy the books.
No, just keep an eye out.
Trip over a book. Oh, God. Upstairs we go.
You head upstairs, you make your way past piles of papers and documents, emerging to another floor, much the same as the one below, with rows of bookshelves, scroll cases, piles of paper lining the walls, strewn about the floor.
Oh, goodness.
This upper room is smaller, however, it has a wall running down the middle, a single closed door in its centre.
I would like to investigate the books.
Make an investigation check.
Dum, dum, dum. 15?
A lot of them seem like registries, census documents. A lot of them are. It's effectively the town council building. There's just records and records and records of complaints, of things that want to be raised at meetings.
Is there
We
anything...
in a parish council building.
Essentially.
Basically, yes.
Is there anything recent?
You looking at it, you've just gone, oh, there's so much information. Even for you, you're like, and a lot of it is just
Pointless.
pointless faff. It is a parish council building. Others. Do you knock on the door? Do you just
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
right in?
I'm knocking on the door.
We burn the parish council to the ground.
Come in.
Yeah, enter.
A man sits there, probably in his early 50s. He's making notes. He's reading from a book. Looks up. Oh, hello there. Stands up, holds a hand up. Franklin Estrup, leader of our little town of Arcport. New faces, a rarity here. What can I do for you?
Good afternoon, it's Dorian Gray and friends here.
Gregor Martwick, Master Mercenary, Explorer Extraordinaire. Bow, shakes hand.
And definitely not the leader of our group.
You mean Gregor's Mighty Mercenary?
Raises an eyebrow at this as if why you need to clarify.
Acacia Bardi, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. And
Gideon Kell, hello.
he holds a hand out.
Grab it with both hands.
Yeah, Dorian's sort of mildly bemused and has been for weeks at this point. So anyway, he turns to him and says, we're hoping you might help us find Victor. We're old friends of his. Well, specifically I am, and my colleagues here wanted to meet him.
Could you make an insight check, please?
I think I'm on 14.
He stiffens slightly at the mention of Victor.
Is everything okay?
Victor? I mean, why are you looking for him?
As I said, I'm an old friend of his.
Yes, of course. It's just... Victor is not exactly the man that I would have assumed even had friends.
Well, we knew each other a long time ago.
Well...
My father was a fisherman and was in the trade, used to trade with him.
Oh, I see. Well, Victor left town on business yesterday morning.
Do you happen to know where he went?
Usually travels up to the towns and villages, down to Tauron, up to Traistan, comes back round again, selling wares for the other fishermen. You must have just missed him on the road.
I don't think so. We came by that road, actually.
We didn't actually pass anyone on the way here. It was very unusual.
That is strange. It is normally Victor that traverses that road. Perhaps he took an alternative route this time. Or maybe it was the day before yesterday. Either way, I'm surprised you didn't see him.
So am I.
Well, if he left yesterday, what was the day today? Yes, that would track. He'll probably be back maybe upon the morrow, the day after. Welcome to stay in town until then if you're desperate to see him, or you can take your chances on the road and try and catch him again.
Where does he live again?
On the path down to the docks. It's where most of the fishermen live. Easy access to the seas, they say.
Handy being a fisherman.
Well, given that it is practically the only business here, for now, fortunately, then it will be...
Do I feel like he's lying?
Can you make an insight check? No.
10.
Yeah, he's confidently correct in what he's saying.
I'd be observing him throughout this conversation. Can I make an insight check?
I'll tell you what, all of you make an insight check.
Oh, for goodness sake!
13.
I rolled another 1!
13?
5.
Yeah, I mean...
Hammered.
Yeah,
It
I
could be
mean,
worse.
what he's saying, if he's lying, there's no tells.
Well, it's a shame we just missed him, but we're in no rush to head off, are we? We could always stay. The nice young lady downstairs recommended somewhere for us for lodgings, so we could just bide our time till he comes back.
You mentioned the only business for now. Now, what kind of fishing, presumably, is the main trade here, but you say there's another business? You have plans?
Well, of course. I mean, I assumed, wrongly I might add, given that you are friends with Victor, that you were here to discuss the Moon Spring.
I have a passing interest in all business opportunities.
Well, the Moon Spring would be right up your alley then, sir.
Marvelous.
It's a wonderful discovery indeed. It will revitalize this town's prospects. I tell you, we've already had several townspeople sell to interested parties. Couple that with our own injection of cash flow from them, and then we'll be looking at making Arcport a wonderful destination for relaxation, rejuvenation, and of course, a bit more prosperity to this little corner of our world.
Well, as a potentially interested party in any exciting investments, it does sound quite marvellous. Is there any way you, a man of such great stature in this town, could give us a private tour of this spring?
I'm afraid not. There's lots of work to do. You see, safety is priority number one. And we need to make sure that all the support structures are in place. And then we've got to clean it up as well, make sure that it is suitable for approach, and then let alone the infrastructure of the town itself. With people coming and going, I expect we'll need a lot more than just the one tavern, I tell you now. I'm expecting much greater footfall, so accommodate that, food, shops, the whole shebang.
Where are all the tourists,
Yes.
I say?
Well, the tourists aren't going to come to a place which is currently under construction, are they?
How do they know? There's
Have you
no
got
one here.
word out about this spring?
Well, the word is out to my friends in higher places than this one. I have contacts now in Greyhold, our fine capital, across the way in Freeport. There's even some interest from the Union itself.
Sounds like a marvellous idea.
Indeed, yes, but it is still at the moment a, shall we say, work in progress. Until the word gets out to the common man, it is at the moment on a, not necessarily a need-to-know basis, but unless you are running in certain circles, you won't know about it. If you know
Just
about
out
the
of
spring.
character a moment. I thought, is the spring not sort of famous?
It's not famous as such, it's only recently been discovered.
Oh, okay.
But there's rumblings and rumours of its effects.
Okay. It wouldn't be unusual then that there's no one here. If it's, like if we've not noticed anyone travelling in and we've not seen any, more rich or affluent people that would be coming to potentially visit the Wellspring, that wouldn't be unusual because it's still kind of a well-kept secret.
Yeah, you're not going to get a normal footfall like a tourist destination. On the other hand, it's surprising that there isn't a single person here that matches that description, even if they are looking to
Like
buy.
early investors and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems a shame that with the fortunes of the place changing, that involves all the townspeople being having to sell up and pack up and go.
Well, I mean, not all of them are, no one is obliged or being forced to sell. They are simply taking a good opportunity when it is gifted to them. And also, not everyone will. Some will stay, some may start up new ventures. This is the importance of the lifeblood for Arcport itself, not just the outside injection of cash flow, but also to enable new opportunities for the fine folk here. We can't have them fishing for the rest of their lives.
Well, you seem very excited about it. That's very nice.
But of course, under my leadership, this town will become much greater than what it did when I was brought up here myself.
It does sound like a fantastic opportunity for the town. Do you have any plans or anything to show anyone that might be interested in investing?
I have planned. He ruffles around in his desk and he pulls out a large set of architectural plans for what appears to be effectively turning this cave. It's got the initial outline of the cave system where the spring was found.
Making mental note of cave system.
And then it's not a complicated system. But then also plans for effectively turning it into out of universe, a Roman bathhouse.
Oh.
Looking at the plans, it is super ostentatious, like over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But given that he seems to be looking to curry favour with people of that ilk, kind of makes sense. So as you can see, the plans are, here. This is what we have to go on. As I say, safety is number one priority. I certainly wouldn't want it on my head, my conscience, or my soul itself, were I to go to the afterlife and be embraced in the keeper herself, that something untoward would happen to someone worthy to visit the village. So I cannot let anyone go to the spring, invest or no, until it is safe to do so.
When you say safe, do you mean purely from a structural perspective, or are there any other issues that are happening down there?
Well, it's mostly structural. The pathway down to the cave where it is not exactly in tip-top shape at the moment. As I'm sure you noticed on your way in, we have a fine set of very, very old stone steps leading down to our docks on one side. We need to replicate that. These things take time. Can't have people going down on a gravel dirt road, can we, when they're on their way to relaxation and then they have to come up that way?
Goodness
it
no.
wouldn't do, would it?
Dorian is stepping back towards the door at this point. Put my hand on the handle and thank you for your information. I'm sure we'll be back if we need to hear anything else. And I open the door and step out.
Of course. I'm not sure what you hope to find at Victor's, given that he's not here, but very well. And if you reconsider investing, I'll be here all day, and tomorrow, and the next day. Lots to do, you see, lots to plan, lots of things in motion. Goes back to
Wow, that's it.
making.
Yeah, I make my way downstairs.
Yes.
Garrett's been standing outside the whole time, just listening to this. What on earth was that?
Bit odd, isn't it? Well, I feel like we have a couple of choices. We can find some lodgings in town and wait for Victor to maybe come back. Who knows? Or we could make our way down to the caves and have a look for ourselves, because he seems to be hiding something.
Or we could go to Victor's house and see what's actually going on.
That would be a good first start, I suppose.
What's his hand on his face? Okay, let's go find this house, shall we?
We'll go see if Victor's left any signs of some sort of... Make sure he's okay, in case there's been some sort of struggle. Then, caves.
Yeah.
Caves?
I mean, should we at least drop our stuff off at lodgings?
I definitely want to see the caves. And yes, we can get some lodgings, but I think we should go and check out Victor's house first.
I agree.
We can
Completely
find.
agree.
Yes,
I mean, that is why we're here, right?
yes,
Indeed.
yes. Come on, Garrett. Off we go.
Can we get Garrett to take the horses and our stuff?
He's not taking my stuff, I'll tell you that much.
As you're sort of heading down the stairs. Excuse me, Miss Cross, was it? Yes, that's right. You mentioned the Cliff House is somewhere that we could go. Yes, that's right. Miss Posse, she has lodgings, small stables there. She peers outside. She's like, I'm sure she could accommodate for 5 horses. Marvelous. Well, I'm happy to take my little stable and stable them. Yes.
Garrett, if you could take the horses and some of our stuff, that would be marvellous. We will investigate on Victor's home, and then we'll meet you back for wine and supper.
What time should we reconvene then?
What time is it now?
It's about 3:30 in the afternoon.
6. Yeah. Give us a couple of hours, have a look.
Wonderful. Well, I'll get room sorted, I'll get the horses settled, and I'll meet you at our newfound lodgings.
Marvellous.
Before we leave, I turn to her and say, Franklin mentioned Victor's house is down near the docks.
That's right, yes. It's about halfway down, small cottage, can't really miss it. Everyone has mailboxes out the front, although, I mean, not that Victor gets any, but...
So his name's on the outside?
Yes, we're a small town, everyone knows where each other lives, but occasionally we receive parcels and deliveries. It's very rare that we receive shipments, but occasionally they are people that do not know the lay of the village, so it's just good practice, really, isn't it?
Great, thank you. One other question. Franklin seemed a little cagey when I asked him about Victor. Any reason?
Victor and Franklin have a tenuous relationship ever since Victor moved here a few years ago. You see, Franklin has been looking for ways to improve the lot of Arcport's life and, well, let's be perfectly honest, business prospects for some time. He's grown up here, never had any prospects himself on leaving, so when he came back, he's made it his mission to try and make it better. The discovery of the moon spring is fantastic for that. However, there is some resistance amongst the older crowd, specifically the fishermen and the fisherwomen and the people that use the sea as their lifeblood. They are resistant to people coming in and changing their way of life. And Victor, despite not being a resident here, has, quite frankly, I don't know how he does it. He's quite lucky with his fishing. So he takes upon himself when he goes to the mainland cities to take everyone else's and sell them on for them. So he's
A man of the people.
a man of the people, whereas Franklin is more a man of your people.
My people?
Yes, with an accent like that.
I love fish and fishing men.
Franklin has it in. Franklin.
Goodness. I've fished all my life.
Dorian just, every time you speak, Dorian just looks at you, and I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, I can't quite believe you're saying what you say.
It's just like real life.
Franklin has it in his head that Victor is up to no good. And he is concerned that he would be a problem should this spring idea take root. Personally, I'm not of the opinion either way of how it goes, as long as the two of them stop butting heads and we can just get on with our lives.
Well, maybe if we find, when we speak to Victor, our dear friend, we can chat to him, and maybe if we and him could see the spring, we could put his mind at rest. He could then convince all the fishermen to be like, it's not so bad. It's going to bring new business. It's going to bring more people that want to eat the fish and consume. They can start restaurants and bistros and all that good stuff.
Yes, and I have tried to persuade Mr. Estrup that this is the way that things should go, but he just seems a bit perturbed by Victor's presence and his, not necessarily influence, just his manner.
Well, if you seem to think I am some sort of well-to-do, well, maybe I could speak to Franklin and see if we could have a little look of the spring and then report back to Victor on how it's not something to be so worried about.
I don't like to eavesdrop, although, you know, it's par for the course. It didn't sound like too promising a conversation, although he did offer you investment, although he offers everyone investment. Don't
Yes,
take
I can
it
imagine.
too personally, or an indication of any wealth that may come your way. Maybe give him a day or two to settle. Do what you need to do in town. Hopefully you will find Victor. He's down by the docks, I'm sure, out fishing. And then we can just carry on with, you can carry on with your business.
Well, we'll go to find Victor. If you could just tell your man upstairs, like, suggest our offering and see if we could help him make friends with Victor, and then we can all go see the spring and put this all behind us. Press forward with our lives. Prosperity for everyone. Pip, pip. Anyway, goodbye now. Enjoy the wine.
Dorian looks at her, is about to say something, and then has no words.
Yeah,
And-
she looks over at you and just kind of goes,
Yeah. I haven't known him very long.
as you leave, you see that there is a young girl outside. She's no more than 10, 11. She's wearing a blue dress. She's got blonde hair tied back in a long braid. She's good horsey, yeah, good horsey.
Which horse is she?
Important information.
They're very important. Argo.
Okay. Whose was Argo? Which of you had Argo?
I was on Argo.
You were
actually.
Argo. You were Chloe. I believe you were Saffron. You were
Ripples.
Ripples, and
Ripples.
Garrett's is Moonsparks.
Okay, thank you. It's very
Why
important
do I
information.
remember that? Right.
Well, since she is with Argo, I go up to her. Hello there.
Look,
Hi, these are lovely horses. Have you travelled far? You should make sure that they're rested. These horses look tired. You look tired. Well, what's your name? What's the horse's name? My name's Anna. Did you know that horses can't breathe through their mouths? That's why they snort. They're gasping for air. Do your horses have names because they're so big and their heart's so big? It's as heavy as a pumpkin. I don't like pumpkins, but did you know that their seeds are supposed to be really healthy? So you should really take the seeds out and then you can give them to the horses as a treat. You should be careful though. Horses think that hair can be a treat, especially long hair. Your hair's quite short, so you're lucky, but I put mine up in a braid. That's why it's up in a braid.
Hello, what are you doing here, please?
I was just saying hello to the horses. You're old.
Good. Oh, yes. Hello.
Your hair's blonde, my hair's blonde, but you're an elf. I'm not an elf. This is why they won't get confused. This is why maybe they won't eat your hair because they'll think that you're me, but then they won't think that you're me because you're an elf and I'm not an elf.
Did you know that the reason why horses like to eat hair is because they nibble each other's manes as a form of social bonding?
She starts moving towards the hair, the mane of the horse.
I suggest you don't bite it, but you can nip the mane and it will simulate the same experience.
She starts doing that.
Is this with Argo?
Yeah.
So this one's Argo. We have Ripples, Chloe, Saffron, and Moonsparkle.
Which is Hefferling.
Their names are amazing. You should go meet Amethyst. That's Victor's horse. Victor lets me look after Amethyst when he's down fishing.
Oh, you know Victor.
Yeah, Victor's not. Well, he's nice. He's weird. He's like Arrow. Arrow's like you. He's an elf too. He's very strange. But you know what? Victor's very nice.
Victor's very nice.
When did you last see Victor? We're on our way to see him now, actually.
Victor left a couple of days ago. Amethyst isn't there anymore, but that's why I'm here. But you guys have horses, and that makes me happy.
Do you know where Victor went?
He goes into town. He takes all the fish with him. The fish are stinky.
Did he take fish with him this time?
Yeah, the fish are always stinky. You can tell when he's leaving, but all the fishermen are happy with him when he goes because he brings them back money.
And he takes the stink with him, I guess.
Yeah, but that's okay because Amethyst she's not smelly. She's a lovely horse. Although Victor's very nice and he lets me clean out Amethyst from time to time, and eventually he says that I'll be allowed to ride her when I'm a bit older, but I'm not old enough yet because I don't have the boots, I don't have the saddle, and Amethyst doesn't have a saddle because she's hitched up to the wagon. Victor doesn't ride her. She.
It's like having a conversation with myself.
So he's left with Amethyst then?
Yeah, Amethyst and Victor left a couple of days ago.
Do you know when he's coming back?
She looks at you and then
Excuse him, he's old.
she nods at you. They're coming back
Yes.
in a few days. That's what usually happens, although sometimes he comes back a little bit sooner. It depends on what he feels like. It depends on how much he sells and how quickly he sells. Sometimes he sells a lot really, really quickly. But this is with the manes. Do the manes taste funny? Is that why they nibble each other? Does your hair taste funny? My hair doesn't taste funny. It's nice and clean. Harold probably tastes funny. He's old and weird, like you.
The story.
He's not an elf, like you.
The story corroborates with our friend upstairs. So
Surely does. Well, just
after that barrage,
just drop by his house and leave him a letter then.
Are you his friends? Is that why you want to go see him? Are you friends with Amethyst as well? You must be. Are the horses?
The horses will all be friends, yes.
I'll let you ride my horse if you can take us to Victor's house.
I think we can make our own way, don't you?
Yes, I rescind my offer.
Got a terrible
Pull
headache.
Bertha out the saddlebag.
Absolutely exhausted.
Well, Victor's house is down there, past there, but go past the cliff house, but don't go to the cliff house. That's where Irina lives. She's mean, she's horrible. That's why horses don't really go there, because there's no one there that goes there with the horses, because horses can smell evil.
What do you mean evil? What makes her mean?
She's mean. She yells at me.
Why does she yell at you?
Because she's old.
I'm surprised she can get a word in.
Do you like drawing? Do you like painting pictures?
I've never tried.
Very well. Fades back into the character taking guns and bullets off his saddlebags.
You mentioned Errol, was it? Another elf?
Arrow, yeah, he's an elf. He's the one in charge of the lighthouse. He meets the lighthouse guys every night.
Is he friends with Victor?
Arrow doesn't have any friends. No one goes to see Arrow. He's very sad.
Why is
But you
that?
go to see Errol.
No, I don't go to see Arrow. I just know that he's an elf. I saw him last time. I was small.
Can you write? I'm just shouting this across the room.
Not well, but yes. I'm 10, not stupid.
Perhaps we could find you some equipment, quills, parchment, and you could either draw us a map or write down all the funny things that happen in town. Any kind of secrets you have on anyone, all of your knowledge you have of all the strange goings on in this town. because that would be most helpful to us, and I'll then let you pat the horse.
I do the writing and then you let me pat the horse?
Yeah.
She says whilst patting a horse.
Yes, you can even ride Clubby if you like. Give us all the information you have, but stay with Garrett over there so you're safe.
You can see Garrett like, I'm going to regret this. Tell me, Anna, was it? What else do you know about horses? And she just goes off whilst writing at the same time. She writes as fast as she talks. You have a quick look. It's all but illegible.
Oh man.
You can read it, but it's going to take you some time.
Might seem insane, but I bet she's got some good dirt on a few townspeople. She might not know it, but it could be used to our advantage.
Yes, can we go now, please?
To Victor's.
For the first time in a while, Dorian is in complete agreement with you.
You make your way through town in the directions that have been given to you. You are walking along with Garrett and Anna and the horses at this point.
Why is she coming?
You're heading towards...
my head!
You need to go down past the Cliff House, this tavern, which to get down towards the docks. It's a large 4-story building which is built, as its name implies, on the edge of the cliff which overlooks the docks themselves. Anna has just been the entire way. I will not subject it to you anymore. And you
I don't know what the problem was.
you can see Garrett just being like, part of him is very tired already, but part of him is like, she knows a lot about horses, and this is almost a kindred spirit. She would just slow down. And you split off from where the Cliff House is down towards the docks. And you head down the stairs, and you can see that there's a number of small buildings and cottages, nothing distinct from others along the path. They're all made of the same white stone, painted wood, thatched roofs. Each one has a name along them as well. And you do come across Victor Mattingham on one of the small mailboxes out the front. There's no garden as such, it is just a small cottage. There's trees around it, but it is generally quiet. There's no lights on. It is the middle of the day, but you can see the occasional people have begun to turn on lamps, especially those that are sort of, not covered by the trees that are growing out of the rocks and the ground, but that have that little bit of darkness. Bear in mind, most of them are built up against the side of the cliff face as well, so the backs of the houses would have very little in the way of light. Could you all make a perception check for me, please?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Another one?
9.
Oh, okay. 13.
12.
You two notice that, there's no lights. The front gate is closed. The front door is closed. Windows are closed.
Can I investigate the property to see if anyone's tried to break in or anything?
I want to check his mailbox as well.
Mailbox is empty.
Okay.
Do you want to just go into...
Just have a little...
Just to look around?
Yeah, I
I
want to
might
follow
check
you.
the locks and stuff.
You want to physically go up? Sure.
Yeah, I'm going with you. Just
Yeah.
go check
I'll
as well.
follow along.
Investigation check.
Ooh.
25!
Critical pass.
See
by the
through
way.
time.
The door is blown off the hinges.
It's a normal door. Damn it! Yeah.
There is no sign of life breaking in, anything untoward that's happened here. As you're making your way around, you do see that there is a small stable just towards the back and the side of the house. As you peer in through the windows, you can see the rooms are sparse. They're mostly bare. It's very minimal furniture. There's a basic stove, a basic fireplace, none of which are lit. You can see there's actually quite a lot of crates and barrels inside, but nothing looks disturbed.
Okay. Does it look like it's not been disturbed at all, i.e. it's not actually been lived in, or does it look like it's just sort of... he's just out?
It looks like he's just out.
Okay, cool.
But effectively, it doesn't look like anyone has broken in, has searched for anything, has looked for anything, or if they have put things back meticulously. Or at the very least, to make it look like it is. Yeah.
Is the front door locked?
No.
Oh, I was hoping to test out my lockpicking skills.
That's what Bertha's for.
Shall we go in?
Shall we?
Yeah.
We are his friends after all.
Well, we'll go in the next session.
Oh!
So, thank you very much for joining us. What mysteries abound in the city of Arcport? You have encountered some of its colourful characters, and you are about to enter into Victor's cottage, but what will you find there? You'll have to tune in next week to find out. So until that time comes, thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next chapter.